Hey guys, so just going to talk about my thoughts and opinions from the technical test server. I did try to do a map breakdown, kept crashing like half hour or so into it, took like 2 attempts. I was like, hey, you know what? It's one of those maps, it's going to be difficult to do because you just hit like a damage cap to the map and it'll just crash. So that will come, I will figure it out. It's usually a little easier to do on console in terms of not crashing because for whatever reason it just happened to work that way. I've only had like 2 maps crash on me on console doing it, so that's that. But yeah, the operators. Ying, really strong operator. Her assault rifle's a little iffy. Lots of recoil, really hard to tell. I mean, it's probably just the recoil that's interfering with consistency and hit detection and what you perceive as a headshot or hit markers and things like that. I've heard the spread on the shotgun's a little bit inconsistent. I haven't really used the shotguns that were introduced in this update, so you won't get my opinion on those yet. But the assault rifle from Ying is great. Legion submachine gun is probably the most balanced weapon of the three. I really like it. It's really strong. Has its ups, has its downs. It's a submachine gun. There's no ACOG on it, but it does get the job done. The Scorpion is ridiculous. Ela Scorpion is really powerful. It's too powerful. Has 50 bullets. It's way too many bullets. Hands down. You've probably heard that everywhere else. It's true. It's really powerful. I will have a walkthrough of the map. The map's not super complicated. There's a pretty decent amount of destruction. A lot of the floors are destructible, so a lot of vertical gameplay will be helpful in terms of wins, especially early on if you can nail that down. There are some very sneaky walls and some shadowed areas that you wouldn't expect to be broken or used against attackers or attackers against defenders, things like that. I will cut to some footage somewhere over here, I guess. I'm just doing a voiceover for it right now. But yeah, map's pretty cool. It's really dark at nighttime. I don't think that's going to be super popular in terms of what people like to play. I think the daytime map will be a lot better. It is in ranked now. It is confirmed by Ubisoft that it will be in ranked, so it'll be fun to see. But I don't think that was a super wise move. I know everyone really wants it, and that's probably how a lot of people are only going to be able to experience it is by playing it in ranked. But from what I can tell, I think it might be a very defender heavy map. It's really hard to attack the map. There's a lot of corners, a lot of small rooms. It's definitely home turf for the new ops and Caveira and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. But that's just my opinions on that. Ela's really fast to play, really fun to play. Shotgun's okay, I used it like a little bit. Not enough to give you like a good opinion, but the Scorpion's by far probably the best weapon in the game in terms of defenders. The attackers, it's still obviously going to be the F2, which is F2 is just ridiculous. That's never going to change. Well, maybe it'll change, but at the moment it's godly. So those two guns are on the same tier, the Scorpion and the F2. Her gadget though is not fantastic. So it's very similar to Echo, but it has like a flash stun effect at the very like first second, where like they can't see anything, and they also can't sprint, I believe, when you're affected by this. But when you're affected by Echo's shot, you can sprint. So that's a pretty big difference there. It's also a consumable in the fact that you throw it, you stun them, nothing really happens to them. Legion, on the other hand, his gadget is incredible. That'll probably have the biggest impact to the Pro League meta. It's not a lot of damage, but it definitely, because you know where they are and what goes off, and like you have the notifications on your screen of like where you've planted them and things like that. That's just free information, and having 7 of those, you can theoretically deny 7 different pushes or at least slow them down and prep for them. And within 10-15 seconds of things happening and going on, it's pretty fun. It's pretty useful. Although he is gonna have to be a very defensive player. Your only risks are probably going to be moving out of the objective to place your traps, assuming you live that long. So it's a big trade-off. He has great guns to defend himself close range and keep himself within the confines of the objective or hovering around it slightly. It's not going to be like a roaming Caveira. I mean, maybe he could be, but again, you'd be trading a lot of resource by risking yourself because you can have up to 7 traps and you get one like every, I think it's like 30 seconds or something like that. So it's just kind of a downer, I guess. If you die and you only placed like 1 or 2 or 3, your teammates might be a little upset. It's probably best to play him as an anchor role. Maybe he'll replace Rook. You don't really need him anymore. I'd say he's maybe really only there if you really, really want like good chest protection. I'd say only for longer range engagement areas where headshots are a little harder, maybe a little bit more vertical play where you can take more hit markers, or, you know, things like that. But yeah, the last gadget I haven't covered would be Ying's. I started with her weapons because her weapons are really solid, but a little inconsistent. So her gadget is great, but a lot of players have been throwing them, letting them go off, and then running in, and that's really, you're not getting your full advantage there. Like, the best thing to do here would be like place a breaching charge on a window, then place your gadget, let the gadget go off, breach in right behind it, and just deal damage, or you know, have a fuse up top with you, and you know, place one of each yours and fuse's gadgets, and then have your teammates rush in after everyone's scrambled and blinded, and just deal with the chaos. That's the best way to really take effect of her gadget, is to act with it, not after it. The trouble with that is if you want to act on it yourself, you know, pre-breaking a barricade and then planting it there or things like that makes noise. You'll get pre-fired. Like, I pre-fire fuse all the time. You'll see in some videos or previous videos where I just, as soon as you see that charge or you hear that charge, whether it's slightly above you or slightly below you on a window, you can easily just pre-fire where he's at and he's dead, and that's the end of it. So it will have its ups and downs. Jaeger's device does take down the entire ball, not necessarily just each individual flashbang. It will totally get rid of the actual sphere itself. So that's pretty hard to deal with in of itself. She is the most versatile operator. I would probably say she will be played in Pro League. I don't know who she'll replace. Really have no idea. I mean, like, I really don't have any idea at all. Like, maybe Glaz or maybe Fuse on some areas, but she pairs up really well with those, and like, you know, area denial and clearing rooms and things like that. It'll be interesting to see. It'll probably be very unique strategies for now. And they'll probably adopt it into their meta in the future. I know I'm definitely going to be trying to make some strats with her, seeing as starting Go 4s on console again soon. You'll be seeing that on my channel as well. So you never know. It's going to be very interesting, but it's really hard to say with just the 3 days that we had the test server. And there was some bugs, but they did fix them. Like, there was some pretty game-breaking bugs, like the duplicating the smokes and duplicating other things, some vaulting bugs. I'm sure they're going to get on top of all those things. The servers weren't terrible. Like, they were really smooth under like low volume, but I think it was Central being the only server up for the TTS is probably why we had some issues in terms of server degradation and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see when it comes out everywhere how the servers fare. I'm sure they'll be okay. They might need a little bit ramping up, but other than that, it should be okay. So yeah, that's that. Actually, I can just go to a couple of spots that I found to be pretty cool. Let's see here. I will leave you with a teaser of one spot that I found to be really overpowered when I get there. Right here. So this entire wall over the main entrance is breakable.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So yeah. That entire section right there, which is like a pitch black wall almost when you walk in, is totally destructible. You can use that to a huge advantage if you manage to capture this, or be able to defend it if you're a defender. I think it would be a really strong place to play, especially maybe like a shield, puts some Legion traps down or some Alice traps down, just things that would an enemy would have to shoot or deal with, and then you can be there ready to hold that room down. Because there's a lot of vertical play, there's a couple of doors beneath that as well, there's the staircase, there's that whole balcony. It's just the front door in this map is a disaster to clear if the defenders know what they're doing. And after my friends and teammates start to learn this stuff and I teach them all the things that I've been fooling around with on the TTS, you'll see in some future clips that it really is just brutal to take this area, and it really probably shouldn't be messed with at all, especially if a team defends it properly. Anyways, that'll be it for today. I will hit you guys with some more Siege content soon. There will probably be a few more Battlegrounds videos in the near future. My Siege videos will probably start to come after I have some more experience with TTS and the new operators. I really want to take the time to mess around and figure some things out, and not just upload, kill streaks with the new operators and things like that, 4Ks, 5Ks, whatever it is. I really want to dig deep into this and get some good strats going and some interesting, unique content. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want to watch some more, and I will see you in the next one.